Yeah, it's recording.
Hey, it's Roxie.
Hey, it's Rudy. How are you?
How you guys doing? Hey, you know what? We have 50 subscribers on our YouTube channel.
I saw that. I know. I've been pushing hard.
Yeah,
And I've gotten
yeah.
one.
Yeah. No, we're gonna get more. We're gonna
Yeah,
get more.
we're still going. Yeah. So, yeah, that's it. So
Here
funny.
come a segue.
It is a good segue, right? Anyway,
Yeah.
well, I mean, we heard Mark Sprague this morning talk in the webinar that we attended about
Yeah.
the upcoming, financial situation in Austin. Mark Sprague, if you don't know, he's Independence Title's Chief Director of Information Capital. It's kind of a title he gave himself, which is interesting, but he's in charge of all of their information and their statistics and kind of seeing where the market's going to go. And so, me and Roxanne, talk to some people about that. Roxanne?
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about last week that we were going to be interviewing Michael Ludwig with GR Affinity Rate Mortgage and Sandy Lambright with Independence Title. And it was great information that they had to give about doing business as usual, unusually. Take it away. How is everybody? We are so excited today because we have special guests, Titan in the lending industry, Michael Ludwig with Guaranteed Rate Affinity Mortgage. And then and then what he's going to say hi when he's ready. He's not quite ready yet. Rudy,
it's nerves.
Don't pressure our guests. They may leave us.
I know.
And then there's Sandy Lambright. She's our title rep with Independence Title. We love her. And we thought it'd be great. Oh, there's Mike. Hey, Mike. We thought it'd be great to have a little Q&A with a title representative and our lender to let you guys know what is happening.
So we'll just open it up. But Mark, Sandy, you guys were both on the call, the webinar. What did y'all kind of think about Mark's thoughts?
I think Mark always, what'd you say?
I said, go ahead, Sandy.
I think he always keeps positive and has a positive outlook. And he always, repeats to us that we do live in Austin. It's a different market than most. So I think all in all, he had a positive outlook throughout the talk. But
yeah, Mike, were your numbers kind of looking the same as what he was thinking? Like, what are you seeing the same as he's seeing? I mean, the numbers are the numbers, so.
Yeah, I unfortunately wasn't on the call. I couldn't make it today. What was he saying about the numbers? And I guess I can kind of reflect off that.
Well, it was just kind of showing and saying that, Austin and Dallas are still set to be strong with this like they have been for the last few years, just because the inventory is just not there. We don't have the inventory, and the demands for jobs and places to live in Austin and Dallas are still going to be strong.
Well, and I think that really is true. I mean, we're not in a Rust Belt market, for example, where it took things to come back. There's areas of the country where real estate still hasn't come back. We are very blessed that we're not one of them. The other thing is what kind of industry, what kind of jobs that we do have. We're going to have some pains because we have lost a lot of jobs at this point, but we've got so much high-tech jobs that people are still working. They're going to be working through this coronavirus. Some of them, unfortunately, are going to take maybe a little bit of a pay cut, 10, 20, 30% until business as usual. But that's where I feel pretty confident is a lot of people are still going to be working. The bounce back should be quicker. The inventory is the big, huge thing. The demand is still going to be there. I mean, we're here 30, another 30, 60 days at most. And I think we're going to be okay. It's going to take us a little bit. And obviously, unfortunately, there's going to be people out there that are going to suffer pain, and who are suffering pain right now.
And one of the things that Mark talked about, and it was a question that came from one of the people that was watching, was that a lot of lenders right now are saying 30 instead instead of saying 30 to 45 days, they're actually saying 45 to 60 days. And I know I asked you this question before. How is guaranteed rate affinity? How is lenders in general dealing with, you know, appraisals and coronavirus, and how is that affecting people's closings?
So obviously purchases, because they are more time sensitive, they still have a, you know, they still are number one priority like they've always been. We're still seeing on the, you know, FHA conventional VA, we're still seeing around that 30-day time frame if
Okay.
we can get the appraisal. On refinances, yeah, they're put on the back burner. I mean, if someone wants to do a refinance right now, realistically, we're telling everybody at least 60 days. Most of the time, we're doing 90-day locks on refinance.
We're still busy, which is nice. We're still seeing stuff closing from before all this happened. What we're doing is switching to completely remote if possible. We have a whole suite of remote closing options. We have mobile notaries, which the notaries will go to your sellers and buyers. We have remote online closings, our remote online notaries. The acronym is RON. You'll hear that a lot. And then we have DocuSign closings, but there are some limitations. Lenders, depending on the underwriters and the lenders, and if they require a wet signature, that's when the mobile notaries are getting involved. We've moved to by appointment only. We've installed plexiglass shields on our closing tables. Our closers are still at the office and going strong, but we're utilizing our remote options a lot more than they've always been there, but we're trying to utilize them as much as possible now.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
On the notaries, is there a state law? I know some states allow virtual notary. Do we have that in Texas?
Yeah, that's what a remote online notary is.
Yeah.
The RON.
Right.
And that's basically, you know, you log in and you have to go through a verification process, and you're filmed. You have to turn your video on, all of those things. You have to
Show your ID.
license and show it. So it's still just as, you know, they do all the rules, and it's still good. But there's still the cases where we're having the mobile notaries and that going out to people versus having them come in, whatever somebody's comfortable with.
I think it's important, and Sandy, you can probably back me up on this. I think one of the keys is it's important for the lender, and especially the loan officer, to be very closely involved in the closing process, because I think that's where the issues come in, is if the lender isn't involved with being accessible by phone. And I've seen this, I've been in the business for so long, and I've heard people complain, well, we were at the closing table, we had a question, I can't get a hold of my lender, you know? And I think that's the biggest key of all, is that it's really the lender, the loan officer's responsibility to be with that file during that closing time.
Yeah, and that's what we've asked, and that's a compliment to you guys. I know I've heard you guys are available all throughout the process, which is so nice because that doesn't always happen. But we are conferencing in the realtor and the lender if the closing is happening at the office. We're asking not non-necessary, but anybody not signing papers to
Right.
conference in. But we do like, you know, the realtor and the lender to be there. There are questions that we aren't involved with.
And you guys shouldn't be. I mean, it's not your thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then one thing I had written down in my notes that I wanted to mention, we are encouraging buyers to use the digital options for earnest money and option money. We're still getting paper checks, which we're trying to completely stop that, just because that is something that could be of danger. There's an app called Zocum that you can deposit earnest money with, and there's an app called Go Option Pay that you can send option money between seller and buyer. So we are encouraging all buyers to do that as well, to get digital with that process. So that's been a learning curve.
I think it's going to be totally different business whenever this thing's all over and said with. And I think for the better, really, it's going to streamline things. It's going to make things quicker. It's going to open up people to do what our company's done with our clients for life thing and making realtors want to go out and enjoy their life and make clients and friends that way and give them that time back instead of being buried in paperwork and just driving from here to there and all this stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think. So
Hopefully it'll help Austin traffic, getting everybody digital.
yeah, there you go. Stay home. Many people ride the bike.
Yeah, I don't know about that part yet. Yeah, I think that's wishful thinking.
Well, anything else you guys can tell us about what you're experiencing these days? I mean, Rudy and I we're kind of trying to be more creative in how we can serve our clients, how we can serve the community in real estate, but in all facets, because nobody can leave. And if they leave, they have to wear a mask. So what are you guys offering? I know we've said Zochem, and I know we've said some other things, but how has it changed your business just on a personal level?
Sandy?
You know, my business, I'm in business development. So my whole job is to be out and about. And so that's been a struggle. I've done a lot of Zoom meetings. I've, handwritten cards, which realtors can do as well. I know part of our Mark Sprague talk that was happening was the last part was just keeping in touch with your clients and, using social media is something that I'm doing more of because I do have time in front of my computer and not in my car. It's just getting digital and trying to keep that face-to-face contact.
But I really appreciate that you guys are adapting and improvising and makeshifting and pivoting to make our clients, because Rudy and we're the ones that refer people to people like you. And so we really want to make sure that our clients get the top service and the best that they can. So I have heard of, for instance, I think it was yesterday, somebody had told me that a roofer couldn't make it to, because of COVID, they couldn't make it to a rooftop. And well, I see roofers working in my neighborhood already. So that just tells you there's some industries that are kind of just shutting down forever and others that are saying, no, we're going to adapt to this. We're going to do that. So yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate you saying that. I mean, it's business is, even though things have changed, it's still business as usual. I mean, that's kind of the way I look at it. If I get a phone call and someone wants to do an application at 8:00 at night, I mean, heck, I'm going to work on it. I'm not going to go, oh gosh, I got too much going on here, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm still going to, it's business as usual, basically.
Unusually business as usual.
Yeah.
I
exactly.
think that was one good thing too that I took from the market talk was he said, nothing's changed. Like people were asking about prices of homes, like how, are they going to drop or whatever? No, nothing's changed. The demand for the homes are still there. The people that want to buy them are still there. We just have to go about purchasing it and doing it a different way than we had before.
Exactly.
And that's what we've got to come up with. All of us, title people, mortgage people, realtors, and then we just have to show our clients how to do it. And I think us four here in the few that are in the front paces of it compared to a lot of other people right now. So we're lucky. Right. So
it's just staying positive. I mean, what else are you going to do? You got to be positive about it, and just, think good thoughts and pray for, some of the people that are, having to go through some sacrifices right now. I mean, my thoughts and prayers are with them, and I think of that on a daily basis, but I think of it very positively that, the old saying is true, this too shall pass.
Well, Roxanne, that sure was a mouthful, wasn't it?
I want to ask Mark Sprague. Mark Sprague was pretty encouraging today, and we're going to talk more about that next week, about how right now we're all freaked out, Rudy. We're all freaked out about what economy is doing and how it's going to affect us in 6 to 10 months. And yes, it's going to be tough. But for real estate, for our market, Mark was saying that it's, on the whole, it's pretty much the same. Prices are not changing. Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin is not seeing much of a change because our inventory is so low and because we have a lot of buyers still ready to buy.
So, and we're going to talk more pricing next week and what to expect. We're going to give another week under our belts to see if anything kind of maybe changes, because like he did say at the beginning, we're 2 weeks in. We're 2 weeks in,
Yeah.
people. This is probably a 90-day thing, and if it ends at 90 days and things start looking really well, things should be great. If they're a little longer, then we have to start planning accordingly and adjust. So that's
Right.
stuff to keep an eye on. But there's no need to say the sky is falling, I think, is kind of what I came away with everything. And
Yeah.
I
The sky isn't falling. It's just a little cloudy, partly cloudy, a chance of rain. But at this point, it's just that we're changing the way we're doing things. And back to our segue of doing more virtual happy hours now than we did when we were before, the coronavirus. And, you'll see with Mark and with Sandy, some of the things that they're doing electronically. We are going to be, Rudy and I, as realtors, are still going to be doing face-to-face come the future, but we're not going to, a lot of things are going to be really streamlined, because this is the time that we're learning how to do earnest money checks and do option fees online, and really secure ways of applying for a loan. So.
Yeah.
And if you guys need anything, call Rudy, call me, Roxie, email, text, whatever. Go on our website, vincentteam.com, Roxie Real Estate, whatever you need, just give us a holler. We're here for you. We really, really appreciate you. We love that you're there for us. And whatever y'all need, just give us a holler. We're happy to help.
You bet, guys. And thank y'all, and have a wonderful weekend. It's Rudy.
All right. It's Roxie. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.